Hi, everyone. Welcome to my self-publishing boot camp class. For those who don't know me, my name is Judy Corey. I am a USA Today best-selling author. I write mostly young adult and contemporary romance. I started writing back in 2012, and after taking quite a while to figure out, how I wanted to publish exactly, and basically learn how to write and do all that stuff too. I finally published my first book in 2017. And since then, I have had 17 books published and love it so far. My first book was traditionally published, but it was also basically I won Kindle Scout, which is like kind of like the American Idol of book publishing. And I wanted to get my foot in the door with that, but I also wanted to be able to publish these other books that I had written as fast as I could. So I was able to also self-publish to try and see which way was best. And my self-published book sold way better than my traditionally published one. So that's what I have stuck with since then. And it's been great. I am a six-figure author, and I get to do what I love. And so far it's worked out for me. Okay. So if you're here, I'm guessing that you are maybe ready to publish or just interested in self-publishing, or maybe you already have, and you just maybe want some more information on how to do it better. So I want to self-publish. What is next? Okay, so the first thing that is so important is you need to write a book that you can market, because you're not just the author. You have to be able to be the business side of that as well. So you're the publisher. So you need to know how to market that book. And it is difficult to market a book that is not marketable. It needs to be able to fit in a specific genre easily. And so that readers looking for books in that genre who already know what they like, they can see your book and be like, yes, that's what I like. So know your genre well and study the books that are doing well in that genre and make sure that your books could fit in with them. You want to watch the top 100 lists. And so especially the ebooks, because that is, as a self-published author, you're selling mostly ebooks. You do sell paperbacks as well, but I personally, and most of the self-published authors that I know, they make most of their money on the ebooks, because you can get a really great royalty rate with those, up to 70%, and you can sell them for less. And so people are more likely to buy those if they are voracious readers, which a lot of our readers are. It's a lot different from the traditional market, where a lot of those, they're selling to people who maybe read 10 books a year. Self-published authors are selling to the people, especially in romance, which is what I write, who will read one or more books a day. So you want to be able to get those readers. Okay, so watch the top 100 list and see what is selling, which tropes are popular, just kind of what the current market is. And the way to find those bestseller lists is to type in Amazon best-selling, and then whatever genre you're interested in looking up books into your search bar. And so this in the photo is the bestsellers in contemporary romance list. And that was, this is the top 100 as of when I'm recording this, which is April 21st, 2022. So those are the books that are doing the best today. Okay, so you want to read those books. You want to also study their blurbs, which is the book description, to see how they are describing them and advertising them to the readers. And you can see what grabs you so that you kind of know what's going well for those authors. And yeah, read, if you're going to write in a genre, you really want to know it well And so you want to read lots of books in that genre. A reader can usually tell if you're not as into the genre, and you usually do a whole lot better at writing it if you actually are a fan of that genre. Know the tropes. So like a trope would be like in romance, brother's best friend is a big trope, fake relationship, marriage of convenience, boss romance. And then in fantasy, there's like the one, I can't even think of the name, but the chosen one. That's the one. So chosen one, or I don't know. I obviously am not in the fantasy one, but if you know it, you know the big things for that genre. Okay, so you know there's so much more that could be said on that, but I used to be one of the writing gals. I was one of the founding writing gals, which is a YouTube channel. There's also a Facebook group that started back in like 2018. And there's tons of information on self-publishing on that channel and in that group. Anyway, we wrote this book on writing to market, which has great information in it, in my opinion. But this, you know, has kind of information on that if you want to learn more about that subject. So yeah, I'm no longer one of the writing gals, but they still have really great information. Okay, so you have written that book, hopefully to market, so that you can sell it well. And so then you need to find out if your book is really ready, because you don't want to put out a book that's not ready to be read. Because a lot of times you will only get one chance to prove yourself to a reader. And if they didn't like the book, they might not take a chance on any of your other ones. So you want to put your best foot forward. So is your manuscript complete? You want to make sure you edit it, revise it, cut out the stuff that shouldn't be there, rewrite things if you need to, polish it, just really make it shine and make it the best that you can. You know, art can never be like perfect, but it can be excellent, and you want to make it as good as you can. And sometimes that does take time. Not everyone will take as long as I did with my first few books. I took 5 years to write my first 3 books because I had to learn how to write, how to really do it. And I really wanted to make it amazing. And so I took a lot of time trying to figure that out, had lots of beta readers, critique partners, and they really helped push my craft to where it needed to be to have a book that was really good when the readers read it. Other authors, they don't take as long as I did. They're faster learners than me. But, you know, however long, like once you have the beta readers and the critique partners saying that it's good, then you might be ready to go. Okay, so your book is ready. So there's a few steps. These aren't all necessarily in the order that you do it. You can take a different order, but they're all steps that need to be taken care of. So you need to have a cover for your book. As a self-published author, you are in charge of that. You don't have a publisher outside of yourself taking care of that for you. So you want to study the best-selling ebooks of your genre and find the style that you really like and think that would go well with your book. It doesn't have to perfectly match it, but give a good insight into what this book could be like. And you want to have a professional design it for you. You don't want to have an unprofessional looking cover, because readers will judge your book based on your cover. That's the first thing they see. And if it looks like you didn't take very much care in your cover design or hiring someone who knew what they were doing, then they might think that the same thing is true for the book inside. And they might think, well, they didn't seem to take care of the outside, the inside's probably not as good either. So you really want it to, you know, be really good. And because no one will know how amazing your book is if they don't click on it first. And so that cover is the first thing they will see. It doesn't have to be expensive. There are cover designers who have really great prices and and do really good work. So what I did, I talked to other author friends when I first started, and or asked in other like groups. Facebook has lots of great author groups, and just kind of asked around for suggestions on cover designers. I could check out their website or their Instagram page, just to see if there was someone who made covers that I liked the look of. But yeah, you can, and you want it to match your genre. As you can see on this screen, there are lots of different styles for the different genres, and you just want something that looks really good. But the nice thing, if you do mess it up, you can always change the cover later. I know for price, like if money's tight, there are cover designers who do great work, and their covers can cost as little as $50 for an ebook. At least that was a couple years ago. It might be a little more thanks to inflation. But yeah, you don't have to spend a ton. But in the fantasy, you know, they can be a little more pricey because they're more complicated. So they can go from like $50 to $400. And then once you maybe get in the higher levels, you're having photo shoots and paying models and all that stuff. So it can get expensive, but it does not have to be expensive. So yeah, I think my first time when I got the ebook and the paperback wraparound, it was like $150 total. So that is a great thing, and it's worth investing in. But don't pay too much if you don't have to. Okay. So you got your cover, or maybe you haven't done that. This is not necessarily the right order, like I said before. So you also need to find an editor, because you don't want to put a book out that has lots of typos and just doesn't look as professional as it should. So you want to hire a good editor, talk to fellow authors and ask them for recommendations. That's how I was able to find my editor. And I've been very happy with that editor. I've been using the same one since my first book. Talk to previous clients of those editors, see how happy they are with the service. You can get a sample edit just to see if you are a good fit, or if they are a good fit for you, if they're just to kind of get an idea of their editing style, because not every editor will match up with the author perfectly. And you can get an estimate on the cost. And maybe ask around in like the author groups if you're not knowing if they are offering you a fair price. Maybe ask around and ask, you know, is this a good price? And then they can kind of guide you a little bit, but you definitely want a good editor. I think that's all I had to say on that. Okay, so you can now move on to writing the blurb. Maybe your manuscript is with the editor. Now you need to figure out how to catch those readers that will be reading your book. So a lot of times I think that the blurb is harder than writing the 100,000 word book that I just wrote, because there's so much writing on these few words, and there, you have the whole book in your head, and now you have to sum it up in like 150 words. That could be daunting. And it is definitely a skill that it's a whole different skill from writing a book. But there are classes there might be classes at the conference about that. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the whole list lineup, but there's definitely information on the internet on how to do that. So you want to get a catchy tagline to hook your potential readers from the start. A lot of times I will try to include the major tropes that are in my book. So like this one here, I have, she swore off the man who broke her heart. He's determined to win her back. So that's a second chance romance. And so I tried to make that known in the blurb. And then study the blurbs in your genre really closely. Read a lot of them, that you'll get a good idea for what is working. And just see what they're doing. Are they in third person? Are they in first person? Are they lots of short paragraphs? or are they more like 2 to 3 paragraphs, to see what is working in your genre. Again, that top 100 list is like your Bible when you're self-publishing. I still check it almost every day just to kind of see what's going on with the market. You want to aim for 100 to 150 words. So it can be more, can be less. It's not like a hard and fast rule, but that's kind of what I try to aim for. Readers don't want to have huge walls of text. If they click on the Amazon page and they see this like big, huge, long thing, they're just gonna like, no, we just don't have the attention spans that we used to. Have your blurb critiqued and proofed for typos. I still love to have lots of feedback on my blurbs because I want my books to sell well right from the beginning. So I often go into the Writing Gals critique group and I'll put my blurb up and ask people for their feedback. And a lot of times I get great feedback. Sometimes it's really awesome and they say, this is great, love it. Maybe switch the sentence here. Other times they're like, you need to rewrite this whole thing. And what does this part mean? And, or wouldn't read the book. So you got, all kinds of feedback. You got to be able to kind of sift through and figure it out. But it can be a really helpful place if you do want a place to have your blurbs critiqued. But yeah, just get that all ready, proofread it. Okay. And then once you have your book back from your editor and you've been able to do all of the final edits, make it all ready to go, it's time to format your book. And so that screenshot shows a little image of what a paperback would look like. So you can format it yourself in Vellum, which is only on Macs as far as I know still, but totally worth the price. It's amazing. That's what I have used for all of my books, and it costs like maybe $250 to $300. Not quite sure of the price. I haven't, since I bought it several years ago. So it's an investment, but if you are planning to make a career out of this and write a lot of books, it is well worth it. Atticus is another one, and that will work on PCs, and it might be slightly less money. I'm not sure. You can also buy a template online. Just find a template you like and work from there to format it. You can format in Microsoft Word as well if you don't want to buy software. There's a video on the Writing Gals channel that shows how to do that. I know Michelle Pennington, who is also teaching at this conference, she was able to put that up, which is helpful. Or you can pay someone to format it for you. They may charge to make changes. Say a lot of times you might get an email from someone saying, I found this typo in your book, because no person is perfect and those things can slip through. And so they may charge you to make the changes. And so that can, make it a little tricky because you have a middleman to work with. But if that is something that is not worrisome for you, then go ahead and do that. It's not done as much now that we have Vellum and Atticus, but that is an option if you don't want to buy the software. Okay, so this is like an example of what my formatting software Vellum looks like on my computer. And so I'm able to just upload the Word doc, and it is so nice, and it puts it in there for me. It's, if you use like at every chapter break, it'll separate it into the chapters for you, and it'll use the title that you had, and it'll just put that right in. I write in dual point of view, so my chapters are all titled after the character whose point of view we're in. You can add pretty images to make it so pretty, and so like Ava in this book has a dress for all of her chapters at the top, and then Carter is the other point of view, and he has a notebook because he is very particular about his bullet journaling. And so, yeah, you can do just all sorts of great things and make it look so pretty. This is what it looks like on the, like on an e-reader. It'll give you a preview of that. And then that's what it looks like in a in the paperback. So yeah, I highly recommend that. And it's just so simple. You can format a book in a matter of a few minutes, which is amazing. Okay, so your book is formatted. Yay. Now, or actually, anytime in this process, even now, if you don't have a website and social media set up, I would get that started now. Like, it's best to have that started yesterday. So really do it if you can, because it can be really helpful. So claim your domain and get your website set up before you publish. Websites aren't like, I don't know how much they're used these days now that social media is so big, but there are people who still go looking at the websites. Mine has been under construction for a year because that's just life, but have somewhere for readers to find you and your books. Get all of your social media pages ready. You'll want to have an Instagram page. A TikTok page is, you know, the new thing these days, and something that I found really helpful for my books and book sales these days. You can have a Facebook fan group, a Facebook author page, have a BookBub page. And don't necessarily plan on selling lots of books through social media. You mostly have this for fans to find and connect with you after they have read your amazing novel. Although, like, that is pretty true for Instagram and Facebook, but TikTok, that has really changed. I don't know if you've taken the TikTok classes in the conference yet, but that has just changed the book publishing world. And it has been amazing. I don't know if you follow Book Talk, but that is definitely a place that I recommend being. That has been awesome for my sales. Okay, so get those set up and yeah, decide how much time you're going to spend on it. Maybe check out other authors in your genre, see what they are doing. That's what I do. I study authors all the time just to see what they are doing and seeing if I can make it work for me, or just kind of figure out what I want to do. Okay, so you have your book ready. Somewhere in this process, you need to figure out your marketing plan. And so, are you going to run ads? Do you have extra money that you can use to help promote your book? There are Facebook ads, AMS ads, BookBub ads, and other ones too, but those are the main ones. And so those do take a bit of a learning curve as well, and so maybe not something I would recommend doing as much of early on, just because it can, you know, take a lot of money, and maybe it's not ready, or you're not at that time in your career where it's a good idea yet. But that's something to maybe consider if you want to have that. Also, newsletter swaps. Those have been basically what I built my career on for the last several years. So you have a newsletter as an author, and that's where your readers can subscribe and learn more about you and your books, and you send them emails every, you know, month, every week, every 2 weeks, whatever works for you. And a lot of authors these days will have a portion of their newsletter where they will share other books in their genre. And a lot of that comes from arranging these newsletter swaps with other authors. So like there can be like Facebook groups where you can find like newsletter swap groups, and you just say, I have a book coming out, give them the date and say, I'm looking for some newsletter swaps during such and such a time. I'm not sure if there's a newsletter class at this conference, but yeah, that's like a big thing in indie publishing. And so just arrange with other authors to share your book, and then in return, you will share your book with with your newsletter, or their book with, I can't remember what I said. Okay. They share your book, you share their book. And it's been great for me to do that and to get the word out. And a lot of times I'll have those like spread out over the first couple of weeks instead of having them all go on release day. I'll have my newsletter share my book on release day, and then I'll try to kind of scatter it out so that it's not just like one big spike and then no one hears about the book again and then it drops. So you want to have something constantly pushing it if you can. So that is something to consider. You need to figure out what price you want to launch your book at. Do you want to release it at full price or at 99 cents, or do full price and then 10 days later have a 99-cent boost day? Just kind of talk to the other authors in your genre and see what they suggest for a new author, because it does differ by genre. When I first started, my self-published books I released at 99 cents, my first 3 or so. And I kept them 99 cents for like the first couple of weeks, and then I would bump them up to full price after that. But I would get advice from the authors in your genre on what they suggest, because it does differ. Then also, if you do the 99-cent one though, you can usually use some book promotion services like Robin Reed's, ENT, Bookerilla, Bargain Booksy, My Book Cave. If you're lucky, you can get a BookBub, which I have yet to get one, and I've been doing this for 5 years, so don't count on that. But those can be great for your release as well if you do the 99 cents. You can also get in contact with bookstagrammers and have them share your book with their readers, have them maybe join your ARC team, send them a copy for them to read. A lot of bookstagrammers will want to have a paperback copy, so that is an expense, and you need to kind of weigh on whether that is the investment is worth the return. But that is something that has helped other authors launch really well at the beginning of their careers. If you get the right person talking about it, it can be amazing. You can do a TikTok tour, find some book talk people to do videos on your book. You can do a blog tour. They're not as big maybe as they used to be several years ago, but it's another thing. There are also services that you can pay for to have them do like a big release splits, and they have other bookstagrammers or whatever sign up to promote your book. It does cost money, and I'm not sure exactly how the return is, but maybe talk to other authors and see if they've used a certain service. Basically, talk to authors, network, figure out what they are doing and what is working for them right now, and try to apply it to your release. Another thing to consider is, will you be rapid releasing? That's when you have a few books come out really close together. So something that really helped me in the beginning was doing the rapid releasing. My first book came out with my publisher, and then 3 weeks later, I had my second book ready to go because I'd already had it written. And so that came out, and people read the first book, they loved it. And then they saw, oh, she has another book coming out, yay. And then they read that one. So it's not super sustainable for everyone. For me now, I publish every 6 months, which can still be considered rapid releasing depending on who you are. But then there's other authors who put out a book every single month, and that is not something I can do at this time in my life. So just figure out what you can do. I do recommending storing up a couple books if you can, so that you can do that. That's usually the best for success. And then also you can consider setting up a pre-order. I wouldn't necessarily suggest that for a first-time author, because no one knows who you are yet, and they're maybe a little less likely to take a chance on an author they don't know and pre-order. So if you do one, I would recommend maybe only a couple weeks for a pre-order, just so that, you know, it can help your Amazon page build, because sometimes it does take a couple of days to get it all built. But just something to consider. Okay, then you can also consider doing some advanced promotion. So if this does work best if you do have the pre-order to direct people to. If you are doing a lot of advanced promotion and you have nowhere to send them to, you might be missing out, and it might be better to save all the teasers and all the stuff until after the book is actually online for them to order. So you can test out Facebook and AMS ads while you have a pre-order, see if your ad copy is working well. Another thing that can be helpful is to test your ad copy on TikTok and Instagram Reels to see if you can find some whatever words that are enticing people to click and watch and share, and, you know, and that's helped me find really great ad copy. Another thing is make promo images and share them on social media. So you can use Photoshop, Canva, or BookBrush, and share little teasers for your book, just to try to entice people and build excitement for your book. You can do a cover reveal on social media and to your newsletter. And with those, you can arrange a swap with other authors to share with their social media followers as well. So kind of like, you know, you share for me, I'll share for you. Or sometimes I will just, even if I see an author has something out, I'll share it in my stories, and not necessarily have anything set up. And, you know, sometimes they'll see it and I'm like, oh, I'll do that for her too. So it's just really great to give back to the community, even if you're not necessarily getting something in return, because it shows that you're supporting others. So yeah, and like I said, advanced promotion works best when you have a pre-order to direct people to. Okay. Another thing to do, I know there's so many things. It seems like there's so much. And a lot of this, it took me years to really, you know, get everything all fine-tuned to where I like it. And there's so much to learn. But once you have some of these things set up, like your social media, your website, your newsletter, you don't have to set them up again, because you already have that part done. So it does seem like a ton at the first. And I just remember the first 6 months before I published, when I was like trying to study everything, it felt like my brain was exploding, and it's just so much. But the more you do it, the more streamlined your process will become, and the more you'll know what things are working for you. So if this is like overwhelming right now, just take it one step at a time and you will be just fine. Just maybe make a checklist of things to do one thing a week, or one thing every couple of weeks, if that's more what you need to do at this certain stage of your life. So definitely don't think you have to do everything right now, because that can be overwhelming. Okay, so ARC copies, those are really helpful to help people try your book. You can get reviews on your book, and they can be on the website the first day, and that helps readers to see if people liked it, and if it will be a book that they want to read. So I like to send my ARCs out 2 to 4 weeks in advance, and you can find ARC readers through Booksprout or Story Origin or NetGalley, which is what a lot of the traditional publishers use, and it is expensive. So I don't know if I would necessarily recommend that. I have not used NetGalley yet, and I probably won't until I'm starting a new series, just because it's expensive, and now I don't know how useful it is compared to these other free options. But yeah, okay. Or if you have close author friends who write in your genre, you can ask them if they would be willing to share like the download link for your ARCs with their ARC team. you want to have a close relationship with them. You don't just ask other authors that you don't really know very well to do that, because a lot of us are protective over our ARC teams. But if you do have some really close friends in this genre who are willing to share it, then that's something that I did in the beginning. You can also make a call on social media for ARC reader signups. So this image over here is I took a photo and I did that and I posted it there, and then I had people sign up through a Google Docs, Google Forms form, where I just got their emails and a few other things that I wanted to know. And that's a way to find people. You might not get tons of interest when it's your first book because they don't know you and they don't know your writing, but it is a way to start, and you can continue to grow this over time. And so I like to use BookFunnel to distribute my ARCs, and so that's just a website you pay. You can purchase the service. You can do it for just like a month. Which is, if you don't have a lot of money in the beginning, it's like maybe $15 to have them send out your ARC copies for the people to download, and then you can keep their email addresses so you can contact them again. And then so when I first started, I would just sign up for that month, and then I would cancel my subscription the next month so that they weren't charging me when I wasn't using it. But now that I have like a reader magnet and other things that I'm continually sending readers to download, I just have a subscription that keeps going. And once you get to that level, you'll just keep it going and find the right level for you, or the tier that works for you. But I love BookFunnel, and I will send out certified mail campaigns now where I will have them email the link to my ARC team, and it'll give the information that I need them to have, and then it will send a reminder email on release day saying, I hope you enjoyed the book. If you did, I would love to if you could leave a review, and then I give them the links for all the websites like Amazon, Goodreads, BookBub. If you're wide, also Apple Books, Barnes and Noble, give them all the links to all the places where they can review your book. And that will go out on release day, and hopefully you'll have a few reviews right from the get-go. Of course, they know that the reviews are not required, because you cannot require someone to review your book, because that's just it's against the terms from Amazon. But and then also it's also against it to have like your family and friends doing it. They can't always catch that, I guess, but like I know that when I first started, I think I had like a family member try to review it, but somehow Amazon knew that we were related or something, and so they couldn't review my book, which is fine, I guess. But so that's also something. Or if I'm like Facebook friends with someone, Amazon will sometimes keep them from being able to review my book too. So you got to branch outside of your close family and friends for this. Yeah. Okay, so then, so you get your ARCs. Okay, and so this is like an example of what the download page will look like on BookFunnel for the books. You'll have your blurb there, and then the cover, and then they'll just click get my book, and it will send them an email. And BookFunnel is great, and they will troubleshoot with people if they're having problems downloading it, but they can download it to their Kindles, to their computer, to their phone, to whatever device they read their books on, which is awesome, and I love it. Okay, so then I kind of talked about having a newsletter. You want to have a newsletter, at least that's my opinion, and a lot of other authors that are doing well will have a newsletter. And so MailerLite and MailChimp are the most popular services, especially when you're starting out. I use MailerLite and I really like it. And it's actually, I think it might be free for the first 2,000 subscribers that you get. Once you reach a certain term, or once you get to like 2,000, I think they charge you maybe like $22 a month or something up until you hit the 5,000, and then 5,000 to 10,000, you pay another fee. So you do pay to be able to send out the emails, but it is also a great way for you to stay in contact with your readers and let them know when you have a new book coming out. You want to have a PO box or something similar, so that, because they do require you to put in a address to sign up for that. And you don't necessarily want all these strangers learning where you live. So having a PO box is something that I recommend, or they have like virtual PO boxes or something that you can look into. And if you're not sure what to do with a newsletter, I recommend joining other authors' newsletters to see what they're doing. There's also a book called like the Newsletter Ninja that has a lot of information about newsletters. But I really like to just like study other authors that are successful and see what they're doing, kind of figure out how often they send, what kind of content do they share inside their newsletter, and what does it look like. Just see what other people are doing. Basically, that's what I do for a lot of my career. And it's worked out really great. Okay, so you also need to grow your newsletter. And so you just put like a link at the back of your book so that you can catch those readers who loved your book, and say, sign up for my newsletter if you want, to stay in touch, or if you have bonus material, that could be really incentivizing. And so you want to have like a reader magnet, which can be like a bonus epilogue from your book. That has been working really well for me lately. So like I'll write the whole book. You want to make sure that it like can stand on its own without that bonus epilogue. But then readers will sometimes be like, oh, I kind of wanted to see where they are like 5 years later. And so you can write that. It can be like 1,000 words, 2,000 words, whatever, 700 words. Doesn't have to be huge. And so you write that up, and then you can upload that in like BookFunnel. That's what I do. And then have a link at the back of your book for them to click on, and then they can download that, and it will also sign them up for your newsletter. So that's like my number one right now. And then you can also write a novella set in the world of your book or series to give away for free when they subscribe to your newsletter. And that can be like 10,000 to 30,000 words. I have 2 of those. One of them is like a prequel novella to my Ridgewater High series, and that one is like 23,000 words. And so that has gotten me a lot of subscribers, because they're giving them away a book. They get a taste of your writing, they get introduced to some of the characters, and they also get a fun little love story, since I write romance. And so that has been really beneficial. Since I write young adult and adult, I have another one that will introduce them to my other series. And so that's something to consider. And then you can also sign up for, you can also give away a sample of your book. It's not, you can't give away more than 10% of your book once your book is published, but that can be something. If you don't have these other things, you can try that. It's not as beneficial as those other options, but if that's all you have and you don't have time to write another novella really quickly, then that, give away the sample, and that can help get a few subscribers. You can sign up for newsletter builder promos. So like BookFunnel has a lot of those, where you sign up with a group of authors to each share this promo. And a lot of times you'll be sharing the novellas that you've all written that you give away. And so then the readers can click in and download all the novellas that they want, and then it'll sign them up for your newsletter as well. Story Origin also has those, and My Book Cave, and also Book Sweeps. I haven't used them for a while, but I think they still do them. Okay, but as you can see here, I have this want to read a bonus epilogue from Carter's point of view, set 5 years in the future, snag it here. Basically, that's easy. And then this other thing with the join Judy's VIP reader club, that's what it like pops up on my website for them to join. You just want to advertise your newsletter everywhere that you can. Have it on your like on social media. If you have the link tree, you can have it be one of the options inside of that. Have it on your Facebook page. Just put that thing everywhere. Okay, so that is like, because you can't always control how many people Facebook will show your posts to, or how many of your followers will actually see your Instagram page or your latest Instagram post or your latest TikTok. Like you can't, they have their own algorithm. They'll show it to whoever they show it to. But if you have someone's email address, that's a direct link to them, and you send it, it will end up in their inbox. Hopefully not their junk mail. You want to have a thing that says when they sign up, move it to their primary or whatever, you know. But it will show up there if they check their email. But so you're not relying on someone else to push it to them. Okay, so you got all that stuff done. Now you're ready to hit publish. Hopefully you've figured out if you wanted to publish on Amazon only, which you would only do that if you're enrolled in the Kindle Unlimited program. That does require you to be exclusive with Amazon. That is what I have done so far in my career, and it has been really great. It's definitely recommended if you are a romance author, young adult. It can be either way, like wide is when you publish on multiple platforms. And so that is also good for a lot of other genres. So find out from the other authors in your genre if they recommend publishing through Kindle Unlimited and Amazon, or everywhere. But something to know is even if your ebooks are signed up through Kindle Unlimited, you can still publish your paperbacks everywhere. So there isn't that little rule with Amazon for the paperbacks. Okay, so yeah, you can publish through KDP Select or wide, publish through Kindle Direct without the Kindle Unlimited clicked. Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Apple Books, Google Play, Ingram Spark. That's a place for paperbacks so that your paperbacks can be distributed to like bookstores and stuff. And then Draft to Digital is a way to have them push it to the other places. They will take a cut if you don't upload directly to these other sites. And then I think Smashwords is also that too. Okay, this is what the KDP page looks like. It's pretty simple, and you can actually upload your book before, like with these other websites too, you can upload your book before you're ready to like hit publish. If it's not like the day that you have set, you can still have it uploaded there and just waiting for you to click publish. So you can get a lot of the things, the information in there that you need. Okay, so then some things to do once your book is live. You want to claim your book on Amazon Central, which is just a page where they will connect it to your like Amazon author page, your bio, it'll link it to you. You want to send the link to your book and the promo information to the people you've set up newsletter swaps with so that they know what link to give people. And then you can call or email Amazon to finalize the categories that your book is placed in, because when you go through the KDP dashboard, they only allow you to put your book in like 2 different categories, and they're like broad categories. And there's little tiny categories that you can find that your book might fit in, and you can email them to put them into up to 10 of those. And I don't have time to explain it all here, but you can find that information elsewhere. But you want to finalize your categories. You want to send the ARC team the links to where they can post their reviews. You want to update your website with the link. I am not good at that. I still have not posted about my latest book on my website, and my last one I was like 6 months late in doing that too. So, you know, you got to pick what's most important sometimes. Then if you have other books, you want to update the back matter of those so that people will know. And so the back matter is like what you put after the end of the book is there. And so that's where you have like the also by you and but the list of books, or you can share like maybe the first chapter of your upcoming book, or you can have the links to your social media, your bio, so you want to make sure that's all up to date, that has your most recent book in there. You want to add the book on BookBub so that they can send a new release alert to your followers if you have those. Again, when you're first starting, you won't have a lot of those yet, but this is just something that you can continue to do as you release more books. Make sure that it is on Goodreads. You want to have a Goodreads author profile set up and have your book linked to your account. I actually always have to, whenever I release a book, I have to go in and like talk to the Goodreads librarians and tell them to add my books to my profile, because there was another Judy Corey who published like one book, like a memoir, right before I published mine. So they always will attribute all my books to her. I'm like, so you want to make sure that it is added to your profile so that readers know that it's yours. And then you can promote your book on social media and then send in a news release announcement to your newsletter. Okay, so that is a lot, I know. And you can find more information on all of these things if you want more in-depth, you can find a lot of information online. That's basically where I got all of mine. And I have some groups on another slide that I highly recommend joining, that has lots of information. But you publish your book, don't forget to celebrate, because you just did something amazing. Like, there are so many people out there who say they want to write a book someday. They want to do it. And they say that for years and years and years, and then they never do. So you did it. You wanted to write a book and you made it happen, and then you published it. And that is a huge thing all on its own. Different from how well it does, the fact that you did it, that's amazing and is worth celebrating. So do that. Take your family out to dinner, buy yourself a cake, do something to celebrate, something that you like. Okay, so the other resources that I recommend are the Writing Gals YouTube channel. Like I said, I'm not one of the Writing Gals anymore. I decided to stop that this year so that I could focus more on writing. But there's lots of great videos there. You'll see me in the first 100 of them. So lots of great information on self-publishing, and then also on the romance genre specifically, because that's what they write. But so much great information. There's also a Writing Gals Facebook group where you can look through it and see what information is on there. There's all kinds of topics that have already been discussed. You can search up those, or if you can't find it, you can ask the question, and there's so many people that are willing to answer. And that's the same with the 20 books to 50K Facebook group. That's also specific to self-publishing. If you want to find critique partners, beta readers, want some help with your book, the Writing Gals critique group is a great place to go for that, and find other authors that are looking for a similar thing, and you can sometimes work together. Chris Fox has a YouTube channel with a lot of great information as well, and some books. The Six Figure Authors podcast is a really great one. They actually just stopped making new episodes, but there are so many that are already on there that are really awesome if you want more information from successful authors. Another that I have recently started listening to is the Wish I'd Known Them podcast. And that has lots of great information, and it's like current, which is great. The Rebel Author podcast is one that I like just barely subscribed to, so I haven't listened to it, but it was highly recommended in other author groups that I'm in. And so that could be another one to check out. And then Wide for the Win, that's specific to like if you want to publish widely. So on Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Google Play, Apple Books, and Amazon. That has so much information because that publishing wide is a whole another like beast of its own compared to just being on Amazon, because there's just so much to learn. So that's another great resource if that is something that you're interested in. Okay, so am I happy with my decision to self-publish? Yes, I am. It has been great for me. I really like having the control. I can write whatever I want to write. Try to make it something that other people will want to read too, of course, but I don't have like someone telling me you can't write that story, or and I have written some that are kind of crazy. But it's been great and I love it. So yeah, really happy with it. So you can still hit the bestsellers lists. This was a cool day. I checked on my author profile and I had all of those bestseller flags on at one point in time. It was lovely. So you can still do great. You can have your book turned into like a game, like a digital game. That was a fun thing. That was my first book that got turned into that, which was fun. You can still win awards. You can win awards with one of your like author heroes, who's like way cool and traditionally published. So you can still win awards. It's awesome. That's not just for the traditionally published authors. Indie publishing is a valid way of publishing, and really amazing books can be published that way. It's not necessarily a just because you self-published or indie published, it doesn't mean you couldn't get a trad deal. It just, a lot of times it's a business decision, because there are lots of authors who make good money traditional publishing, but there are also some who don't make a lot, just the same as in self-publishing. There are authors who make millions of dollars a year from their self-published books. Just like, there's some that don't, but you can make lots of money either way. And for me, it has been really great. You can still rank really high in the charts and be with really cool authors. And you can make the USA Today bestsellers list. You can still hit those lists. So yeah, I have really enjoyed it, and it is something that I will continue to do. And just because you decide to publish one way doesn't mean that has to be the way you always publish. So you can choose to do that, and then you can choose if a book seems right for the traditional publishing route. You can do that too. I have plans to shop a book traditionally later on. So it just, whatever works for you and your book and where you are at your life, might as well give it a try. So I hope that this was helpful and not too overwhelming. But yeah, just take it one day at a time and one thing at a time, and eventually it will just become second nature and something that can be really great for you. So thank you for coming to this class. Have a great time at the conference.